Can Kill initiative. This is an effort to educate people here on campus and in the community and really through the media statewide about the dangers of fentanyl and the fact that literally one pill laced with fentanyl can kill you, and it is an imminent threat to not only students but communities all over the United States. And this is sort of a continuation of the opioid battle that we have been battling as a country for some time. In many ways, it is worse now. And if you look at this issue historically, you can understand why. So for years, as we all know from the press and from all of the different reports, we in this country have had a significant problem, particularly in rural communities with opioid overdoses. And this started with prescription drugs. And those prescription drugs could and did kill when abused. But one thing we knew about prescription drugs, we knew what they were. They were drugs that were manufactured for prescription use. So you knew when you took those, even if you were abusing them, you knew what you were taking. This was a significant problem in the United States, and we began to grapple with it with a lot of litigation against different parties who shared parts of the blame. We came to grips with the problem, and a lot of healthcare professionals changed the way that they prescribed and used opioids. My brother had a bad back surgery and was given pretty much all opioids to deal with that pain years ago. That approach, a more balanced pain management approach, changed a lot of that. But this problem that we had involved a supply, almost unending supply of these prescription opioids. And as we came to grips with that supply was better managed, and the legitimate drugs from pharmaceutical companies, the prescription drugs, those began to be harder to obtain. So you had this demand, but the supply was more difficult to come by. So who stepped in to fill that supply void? Well, some of the same criminals that stepped in to fill the methamphetamine supply void when we put a lot of the ingredients that people were using for homegrown meth, we put those behind the counter and put them more out of reach. There was this supply issue. So the cartels and others outside the country began supplying illicit methamphetamine, and in this case, they began supplying illicit opioids, many of them laced or based on fentanyl. And that's what brings us here today. So in today's world, what is happening to get fentanyl in our country is the Chinese are providing a lot of the ingredients being shipped below the border, outside the U.S. border, where they are manufactured, and then they are added to so many different drugs or given as pure fentanyl in this country. They come across the border illicitly. They are intended to do one thing, to get people addicted for more. These are not prescription drugs. These are not made in prescription drug facilities. These are not drugs that were prescribed by doctors. This is primarily illicit fentanyl, and you have no idea when you take it what you're taking. And therein lies the danger. Sometimes these people will lace other drugs with the fentanyl to make it more addictive and to make the high higher and to make you want more and more and more of it. And they care not whether you die the first time, because there will be other people that they can prey on. And let me tell you something that you won't hear a lot of places. As someone who's been in the military for 28 years, I'm still an Army reservist. The Chinese, and it really doesn't matter what you think because the reality is there on this issue. The Chinese are not your friends, the Chinese government, and they are a strategic adversary. They are planning for long-term conflict, and they turn a blind eye or encourage this activity because they are able to kill about 200,000, I believe is the estimate, Americans a year without firing one shot. Not one shot. And if you think that the authoritarian regime in China could not stop this, you're wrong. They allow this to happen. What's that got to do with you? Everything. This fentanyl is here on campus. It's on every campus in the United States. It's at every SEC school, every non-SEC school. It's in dorms. It's in fraternity houses, sorority houses. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's at parties, and you've got to be aware. This is not a university problem. This is everywhere. This is everyone's problem, but it is here. And they do target young people, students, and a lot of people who take it don't know what they're taking. So, my office, the Attorney General's office, has funds that we obtain through opioid settlements, and I am seeking to use those funds. They have to be used for opioid abatement. So as I scour the state for different ways to use it, in some cases we want to use it for long-term strategic goals. For example, I've committed $50 million to Arkansas Children's Hospital to start the National Center for Opioid Research. There's not one. We're going to have one. We're building a building. We're bringing new people in. This is going to be a game changer for research. But a lot of the spending is for right now and is dealing, as we are here, with the problem right here and elsewhere. And that comes in the form of Narcan availability here and elsewhere. It also comes with raising awareness. And so as I was looking over the state, I said, who's an awesome partner? Right here. Who's an awesome partner? The Chancellor's an awesome partner. And where do we have a massive concentration of students? Right here. I think you're up, what, 33,000? Yes. But who's counting? It'll be 11 when my daughter gets here next year. Go Hogs. My wife went here, and my daughter will be here next year. I just want to say, I've got a red shirt, a hog belt, and hog socks. Go Hogs. So this is a natural place to come and get this right so we can then replicate it all over the state to different universities and institutions of higher learning and elsewhere. So I would be remiss if I didn't tell you a quick story about a student who attended here. There was a young man named Will, and he was a Catholic high grad from Little Rock, 3.7 honor grad. He went to the university here. He was in a fraternity. He was a classic American story, Will Dorhoff. And as a student here, he had never touch drugs, and he started taking Adderall. And that led to an opioid addiction and trying other stuff. And eventually, he died of a heroin overdose after struggling with this. This is a young kid that I knew. He had volunteered for me. I know his dad. I called his dad on the way up here, and I said, I want you to know I'm going to mention Will. He said, I want you to mention Will, because I believe that that's the best thing we can do to honor his name, is to tell others about this risk. And as I said earlier, in many ways, it's worse now, because when Will passed, the illicit fentanyl trade was not what it is now. So now, you can't even act like you know what you're taking, because you have no idea. And it's not just that you don't know. They counterfeit the look of it to match legitimate drugs. That's how deceptive these evil, evil crooks are. They care nothing. They care nothing about the people who will ingest these pills and these drugs. So, what are we doing here? Well, there are 3 steps to dealing with this problem. There's certainly the law enforcement step, which is to pursue the suppliers, the folks who are trafficking this poison. That's a part of it. But there are 2 other critical parts. There's prevention. The best thing that can happen is no one ever tries it, because we've educated them and they know, don't touch it. And then lastly, for those who have struggled with it, we get them help for their addiction. That's sort of the range of effort, the lines of effort that we talk about in the Army. Those are the lines of effort that we need to battle this. And a great, great partner is our Chancellor. Chancellor, would you come up? And I want the Chancellor, I'm so honored to be with Chancellor Robinson, because the part that I mentioned, dealing with the issue of education and awareness, that's the primary reason we're here. We've got the one pill can kill messaging. But I want the Chancellor, if you would, Chancellor, to talk about what we're making available as a team here. I think we've expended about $100,000 at this point, but we're going to continue to be partners as you need additional help. And all these successes here, we're going to replicate around the state. Y'all are going to be, you're the flagship university, you're a research university, you're our biggest university. You're a big deal. You're a big deal. And you're leaders, and we're going to use what we learn here to help others around the state. So, Chancellor, if you could, and I think there's a packet here that shows some of what we're giving out.
First, I would like to thank the Attorney General and his office for putting this on. Let's give them a round of applause for their support. I had some prepared remarks, but following the Attorney General, he took all my remarks. But I will say I can underscore things, and that's the beauty of following a good speaker. I can underscore some things that I think are really critical here. One is, first, the gratitude, as I expressed, that you are taking on this issue, which is a state issue, a national issue, and it's also an issue on our campus. 2, we have the largest campus, and we have a great responsibility to support our students in every way possible. And in supporting our students is recognizing that some of our students have issues, challenges with addictions, and we're going to not just stand by and allow them to harm themselves, but we're going to take direct steps to try to mitigate their challenges and get them on a better track, and most importantly, to save their lives. And so I'm really, really grateful for this intervention. The one pill can kill effort has been going on this campus for some time, and we are absolutely, totally committed to doing our part to support the campus, to set the model so that you can use this at other institutions of higher learning. The University of Arkansas has already invested in this effort. We have some 541 Narcan kits on our campus. We are completely supportive of providing this opportunity to save lives. And your office has now brought us more resources. And again, we're grateful for this, and we will use these or make these available in some very strategic ways. The fentanyl harm prevention kits are now another tool that we can use to better support students so that we can ultimately save lives. And our Pat Walker Health Center, which is represented, I see some folks from Pat Walker, they're going to be great and strong partners in this effort. And so again, I want to underscore how grateful we are as a university to be part of this. We're committed to doing our part. The students and the faculty and staff who are here today are committed to this, and we want to do everything we can to save the lives of our students and to put them on a better path. And so I know we have our chief of police in the background because there will be some training done with the chief today. He's back there, again, to show you that we are absolutely and totally committed to this endeavor. And so, again, Attorney General, thank you for your support, and we look forward to working with you and continuing to help our students make better choices and to go on and have productive lives. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. One thing I want to mention, so we will have law enforcement training this afternoon, and that's going to be several hours of training. And then this evening, around 4:30, and I know you've got all the specifics, we're going to have a student gathering. And I believe you have to come back to get one of these cool footballs. One pill can kill in Arkansas, and obviously we'll be giving out some tools. We have these packs that we'll be giving out that the Chancellor mentioned. The other thing I would mention where we can help, the Chancellor makes a really important point. Y'all have been on this issue. You've been engaged on it. You've been doing a lot on it. What we want to do is help you because the Narcan packs don't last forever. They have to be replaced, I think every 3 years or so. And so we have funding that can help in that regard. And what we want the Chancellor and all of you to know, if you see other innovative ways of taking this to the next level, you don't have to worry about the money because this is what opioid abatement money is for.
Can you say that again? We don't get it.
As it relates to opioid abatement, you don't have to worry about the money. We will be a partner with you. We've got a new vending machine, a Narcan vending machine where people will know where it is. They can access this. And that is, I believe, here in the building. Pat Walker, okay. At Pat Walker. So these are some of the things we're doing. But just a great partnership. I'm a big fan of what y'all are doing. And so we just want to come in alongside you and help any way that we can. So thank you for letting us be here and be a part of this. And I'm happy to take any questions from anybody if you have any.
I have people here in the room. Do we have any statistics on Narcan issues that are tied to the University of Arkansas specifically? Because I'm not aware of the issue in terms of the particular conditions here.
tell you what, why don't we talk to you? We'll get some data for you. Let me say this too. In many of these locations, prevention is the focus because you've been doing this here for a while, but a lot of places are not as far along. And so we're going in and saying, regardless of what you have or haven't done, we want to make sure you have this as a bare minimum. And prevention is our focus, and education and raising awareness. But we can, if there's some available stats for other places, we'll get you those. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad you asked, because I happen to have not only those specifics, but a pair of reading glasses. So that will include lunch, and it's going to start with a discussion of what is fentanyl, what does it do to the body, how does it compare with other opioids. I think the stat that gets people is it's 50 times more addictive than heroin, something like that. So it's going to talk about the different products. So it'll be a real primer on fentanyl. And then after that will be the lunch, and there'll be a discussion of opioid treatment, naloxone training, how do you identify an overdose, how to administer the Narcan, incident reporting, etc. So that will be, it'll be a deep dive on the fentanyl, and then a deep dive on what do we do, how do you deal with it. And that's the focus of the law enforcement stuff. And then the student component starts at, looks like, sign-ins 4:45 and dinner. And then I'll welcome folks at 5:15. And that'll really talk a lot about the Narcan training and how to use the fentanyl test strips. Okay? And we can get you more specific. Does that give you a good overview? Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank y'all so much, and I hope all of you who are invited to the other stuff come to that as well. We are here all day. We're going to do a lot of training. We're going to have some good conversations, build some relationships, particularly with the law enforcement, and just let people know what resources are available. You want to add anything to that? Nope. Thank y'all so much, and come back for the footballs. Thank y'all.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. You like it?
Yeah, good.
You want this folder?